your eye. Can't seem to grasp around and drowned. We go with the twisting. Float right, not know what's wrong, but it seems like how our love is constantly on that. I'm caught up in all these dizzy motions of which you're always so nice. The way your smile lights up the darkest night. Do the dibbling with every touch, let it slip away. Oh, how much you clutch, lost but never knowing right. Just me, baby, here for tonight. Dancing through the feeling, your delight. Together forever, everything aligns. No matter where time flies, always drawn together through stormy weather. Never felt too strong, our chemistry was electric, unbreakable. At times we belong love. Different faces meet as if they understand that dreams are worth fighting, and when destiny knocks us down, igniting, we keep pushing forward, breaking the rules, breaking barriers, standing tall. Nothing will hold back. Who knows now? Do daisy dancing so by. Stop doing anything, just having fun. I'll let them say did. Color Jimmy, love has found its true rhythm. Don't drown out that, forget about the past. Hold onto that moment, make memories us for even though things may differ, still can be any kind. When words get lost, somehow it lonely remind people of their own journey left.
Hey Karen, can I get your help with something?
What do you need help with?
So I'm looking at some flights here. Which one do you think is the best?
Well, first of all, don't you have this thing with planes?
Uh, no. What do you mean?
You don't want to ever fly because you're scared of flying.
No.
Yes.
No, I'm looking at flights to Japan right now. Which one's the best?
It's not about that. You're not ready for a 15-hour flight. You haven't even done a flight, period.
No, I can do this. I
You
promise.
need to start slow. You need to start with something that's just an hour, then 5, then maybe 10, then that.
Well, what should I do?
I think you should pay attention to the fact we got people here.
That might be a good idea.
Yeah.
Alright, but yes, welcome in, guys. Episode number 5 already of the Dibble Dabble Podcast. And if you guys did not notice, yes, today's topic is about traveling. And I think it's going to be a fun one today. So I'm going to go ahead and get the music going. Alright. Also, Karen's volume should be good here. I think. It should be. But,
Yes.
yeah, I think it's going to be a fun one today. I feel like Karen might have more stuff to talk about than I do, but I got some stuff to talk about when it comes to traveling. So, sounds fine. She's loud enough. Okay, thank you for letting me know, guys. I do appreciate it. Alright, so, now, the thing with this, something kind of funny, we didn't really talk to each other about, like, stuff we got listed. So we might kind of surprise each other today. Or maybe not. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But so I guess as far as me, I don't know about Karen, but as far as me, I do have some pretty big trips I do want to talk about today, which I have talked about on stream before. and there are a few trips I want to go on at some point in my life, so I will be talking about that later. But yeah, did you want me to start, or did you want to go first?
You can start.
Alright, well, the first thing I want to talk about when it comes to traveling, so for those of you guys who don't know, we're kind of talking about sports a little bit here, but I promise it's about traveling. So I used to play soccer and hockey, like in a league a long time ago, and not so much with soccer, but with hockey. When I was playing hockey, we would travel to just nearby local cities and towns, some places I've never been to outside of when I played hockey. So I guess that's kind of how my traveling journey started, because of hockey. And like I said, a lot of those towns and cities that I went to while I was playing hockey, I've never been to them since. And this was a very long time ago. This was like way back when I was like 8 or 9 years old. It was a long time ago. So that's what, over 20 years ago? Yes, I'm old, I know. But yeah, there's that. And something else that's kind of cool here. Also, Rolanda and Max, thank you for the 20-month milestone. I appreciate that. So, something, I actually don't even know if I've talked to Karen about this. This might be news to you, but I used to record games for a local hockey team. I'm not even sure. Did I ever tell you that, Karen?
Mm-mm.
I never told you that. Okay, well, it's news to her then. So, yeah, I used to record games for a local hockey team, right? Now, when I did that, it was just the home teams at first. Or the home teams, the home games, I mean. It was the home games. But then eventually I ended up starting to record the road games as well. And because of that, again, I traveled to, you know, a number of different cities and towns that I've never been to that I wouldn't have gone to if it wasn't for me recording the hockey games. So that was pretty cool too. Again, not to turn this into a sports talk too much, but yeah, like because of hockey, that's kind of how my traveling started, I guess, if you will. And then, like I said, I do have some like big main trips I do want to talk about. But is there anything you wanted to talk about, Karen?
Well, I mean, for me, traveling is just like, you know, I grew up, you know, it was just me and my brother growing up. And remember, guys, I'm from California originally, so a lot of my earliest travel memories, I would say, was just a lot of car trips. I didn't take my first flight till I was 8, which we can get to that in a little bit. But in California's a pretty massive state, but we lived 6 hours from the Southern California area. So, I mean, that was just a real big part of my childhood. Was we would just go to Disney every couple of years, sometimes maybe every other year. We'd pile everybody in the car. We put the TVs on the back of the parents' seats, and we would drive for 6 hours, give or take, to Anaheim. Mainly, Anaheim is where Disneyland is at, and so a lot of car trips were taken to that area. Like, that was just basically my childhood growing up. A lot of driving and stuff, just being in the car, and it was a lot of, like, basically whenever we would see, like, the TVs in the, because my parents were, you know, reasonable, like, having young kids in the car without something to entertain them, you know, so whenever we saw the TV to the back seat of our parents' car seats, we were like, oh yeah, this is it, this is going down. And then I would say that trying to think. So basically, like, I guess we can, like, my first major plane ride was when I was 8 years old, and the interesting is it was in a very post 9/11 world. This was 2003. So people were still very much afraid of flying. For those of you who may not be aware of what happened in America 9/11, you can look it up. I won't get into it, but it changed the way Americans traveled security-wise. It changed the entire flight vacation industry. And so we flew in a post 9/11 world, and so we went through, like, that was all new to TSA, all that good stuff. My first plane ride was to Georgia, which is where my aunt and uncle live. And we flew from Long Beach, I think it was Long Beach to Georgia, one shot. And then this was to go to Disney World. So not only was it my first time doing a plane ride. It was my first time in an RV. So, Raven Enemy, you live in Georgia? Nice. That's where my aunt and uncle still live. So, Georgia law states you can ride in the back of a fifth wheel. So, it was me and I'm the only girl, so it was me and two of my cousins, and then the other one and my brother were in a minivan for 9 hours. Guys, it is a 9-hour drive from Kennesaw, Georgia to Orlando, Florida, particularly like the Kissimmee area, which Disney World is located in. So that was like, again, first plane ride, but also first giant car ride.
That's not that bad.
No, 9 hours is a lot, but I was in the fifth wheel, so I actually remember a few of us took a nap in the bed. Like, we had a bed, we played on the God, I'm gonna age myself here. We played Tony Hawk on the PS2 while my uncle towed the fifth wheel. Because
Throwback.
Disney World has something called the Fort Wilderness, so you can bring your RV, you could pick a cabin, but my uncle had the fifth wheel, so they all camped in the fifth wheel, and we had a cabin because obviously we were flying from out of state. But yeah, those are some of my pretty early, I would say earliest flight memory for earliest travel memories, because I mean, goodness, I was 8 in 2003, so yeah, there was a lot of firsts on that trip. So yeah.
That's crazy, though. I couldn't even imagine what it'd be like to go on a plane when all that was happening.
Well, 9/11 happened in 2001, right? So this was only 2 years later. Things had calmed down a little bit. But, you know, there was still, like, you know, I know my parents were even a little bit hesitant in booking it, but, you know, they were like, we haven't been out there to visit my family at all. Because it wasn't just a Disney World, it was visiting my aunt and uncle's house for the first time, seeing Georgia for the first time. We just did the Disney World thing because it was like, hey, we're only, like, 9 hours away, which everybody in the minivan sure felt those 9 hours. And that was actually my first time. That was my first time experiencing Chick-fil-A. So, yes, Chick-fil-A's in California now. But that I actually got to experience Chick-fil-A for the first time in the South, how it's supposed to be. So that was an experience too. Because now I, like, eat it every 2 weeks.
I can imagine. I am doing very good, Carly. Thank you for asking. Hope you're doing well. So, yeah, like I said, as far as my... Oh, were you going to say something?
I was gonna say, so speaking of travel, I feel like this is the perfect opportunity. For those of you who are unaware, Ryan has the most dramatic, hilarious passport story of the century.
Huh.
Because we got a lot of new faces in town, and those of you might not be aware, but I feel like this is just the perfect podcast to talk about the passport ordeal. Now, it's funny now, but it was not funny in November, so, you know, I feel like I'll let you take it away. This is the perfect time to talk about it.
I mean, I'll be honest, I wasn't planning on talking about it, but I could, because it's always funny to talk about.
I feel like it just makes sense. If you don't want to talk about it, that's fine.
Oh, I don't mind. It's a hilarious story.
Okay, well then, I feel like this is the time to talk about it. Go ahead.
Yeah, so, I mean, I guess we're gonna kind of skip ahead here. So there is if you guys are unaware, there was a pretty major trip I went on this year. I was gonna save this one for a bit later, but I guess we can do it now. But, yeah, I kind of went on a bit of a major trip this year. For those of you who might be aware, it was about 3 months ago. So, I went to Tennessee, as we all know, right? I'll talk more about that. Yes, I did go to Tennessee 3 months ago. But, obviously, I'm in Canada. Tennessee is in the States, which means I needed to get a passport. And my goodness gracious, I got a funny story. And something I've talked about quite a few times on stream. So, when I went to get my passport, it was a bit of a hassle. Let's just say it was a bit of a hassle. So, the first thing I did was I printed off the sheets that I needed. So I just went online to the site, I printed them off at home. That was easy, no problem there.
Well, wait a minute. When you talk about, this is something you guys don't know about. I was on the way down to Georgia for Thanksgiving. And Ryan's like, okay, cool, because we know he's coming down to visit, and he's like, cool, I'm gonna look up the stuff for my passport. And first of all, it was even understanding what was required. So let's start there. It was understanding what the heck he needed. Even I didn't understand. I'm just like, I thought it was just like, you know, okay, you needed like your ID, proof of that he was born there. Oh no, he didn't. No, it was not just that.
No, it's a lot more than that.
So he needs a guarantor, but the guarantor has
Guarantor.
to have a passport. You have to have 2 references who cannot be family.
Yep.
So if you don't have 2 references who aren't family, or you don't have a guarantor or doesn't have a passport, guess what? You might have to have a policeman do it. And you wonder why we know all this, because he had to call and find out.
Well, it's crazy. Like, I get it, but I don't get it, because again, like Karen said, you need what's called a guarantor, which I'll talk more about in a minute. You need a guarantor, 2 references, you need to get your passport photos, which that's where the funny story comes in play with the photos. But it was a lot. There was a lot. So the guarantor they need to have a passport as well. The guarantor can be family. It can be family, but the guarantor wasn't hard for me to find. I actually got lucky with that because one of my closest IRL friends actually has a passport. So I used him as my guarantor, so I got very lucky with that.
And that was very nice of him.
It was, definitely. And the references can't be family, but the references, something I don't understand about this is that the references need to be somebody that you've known for at least 2 years. But it's like, I don't know how they would know that.
Yeah, they never, I don't even know, but it's just like, whatever. I think you ended up using one friend and then a coworker from your old job.
Yes. Yeah, and both of them, I mean, one of them I've known since high school. The other one I've known for 6 years, I think. But it's like, I don't know how they would know that, but anyways. So I did that. Like, the guarantor and the references, that part wasn't that bad. I kind of got lucky with that.
Yeah, that worked out.
But the photos... Okay, so it is time to go talk about the insane, crazy, stupid, dumb, whatever the heck you want to call it, story about my passport photos. So here's what happened. So,
we starting with the Christmas parade?
Well, we're going all the way back to the beginning here. So.
Oh yeah, this is buckle up, guys.
This is you're gonna get a laugh out of this. It's like, it sounds like I'm making it up, but I'm not. I promise.
But you're not.
So, I went to get my passport photos. I didn't know where the heck I was supposed to go for them, right? So, my mom was actually the one who told me where to get them, and she said, you can go to the drugstore. So I went to the drugstore. The first one I go to, I cannot make this up, it was the same night as the freaking Santa Claus parade. I'm not even kidding. So I go to the drugstore, and the parking lot is packed. Completely filled. There's no way I was finding a spot there, so I couldn't go to that drugstore, right? So that's strike one. So I go to a different one. It's the same drugstore, just a different location. So I go to this one, and I walk in. I can actually park there. So I walk in, and the guy there says that their machine went down today for the passport photos. It went down today. So strike two.
Hearing you tell it again,
And-
it's just like the freaking machine went down. The freaking Santa parade.
On that day. So I go to a third drugstore. Now this is where I actually get the photos done, and this is where things get really, really stupid. Really stupid.
Stupid.
So I go take my photo. The first lady does it, and she takes the photo, but she says there's like some kind of glare at the top. She couldn't get it done. She could not get the picture taken properly. So she calls someone else over to get the picture done as well. So then she takes the picture, and guess what happens? The same issue. There's that glare at the top of the photo that they just can't seem to get rid of. So that's two people that have taken my photo, and then they call somebody else over to take my photo. So at this point, I've had 3 different people take my photo in one store. Now, the third person, she does take my photo, and it looks good, right? It looks good. I get my photos, but again, I can't make this up, but when you get your photos, you have to get a stamp on the back of the photo.
Oh no,
So
stamp.
I take the photo, they go to put the stamp on, and the stamp isn't working properly. It was smudging too much. The stamp wasn't working. So then they had to call somebody over to fix the stamp or something. I don't know what the issue was, but anyways, they did that. So they fixed the stamp. It's fine. They stamp my photo, and then I walk out there with my photos. Great, right? Everything's great.
You would think that. So then, here's something you guys don't know. So then, because this is where so it feels, for no one's shocked here, Ryan's an overthinker, which is great. It comes in handy a lot. So, I believe they got you an appointment, but it was kind of in this, the appointment was I don't know, I forget the time was kind of late. That's right, I think the appointment time was late, and you didn't like that just in case something went wrong. So this man I'm talking to, keep in mind, this is back when he was waking up at like 11:30, 12. Woke up at 8 in the freaking morning.
Yep.
To go be there at opening for this passport. Because he wanted to be there at walk-in because, again, like, the date wasn't a bad time. It was just like, what if something goes wrong? You know, so it was basically as soon as possible once he got the photos done. And so I'm at the gym. I'll never forget this. I was at the gym back when I was going to the gym, which I need to. And all of a sudden I get a text message and I'm like, oh my God, it's like 8 in the morning? No, it was technically 9 because I dropped Emmett off at school. That's right. It was like 9 something in the morning. And I'm like, oh my God, he's alive. And then it's the first snowstorm of the season. So
yep.
Anyways, I'll let it go back to him now.
Yeah, so the passport debacle is not finished, by the way.
No, it's not done.
Yeah, so what happened was, so you gotta go into, when you apply for a passport in Canada, you have to go to Service Canada, just any one, doesn't matter. So what I did was I made an appointment. I forget what day it was, but I made an appointment. I knew you could walk in. So my plan was to make the appointment, just have that appointment scheduled just in case I needed it.
Right.
So what I did was, like Karen said, I woke up very early that day. It was like 8 o'clock. And I went there right when they opened. And I'm not even kidding. And it was the same day, the first snowstorm of the season. Like, are you kidding me? And it was pretty bad.
Yeah, I remember that was...
Like, I considered not even bothering with it, because it's like, there's no way I'm driving in this, right? But in the back of my mind, I knew that it was worth it. And at the end of the day, it was, but there's more to this. So, I go to Service Canada in the freaking snowstorm, and I walk up to the front desk, and I show them I got all my info, right? The sheets are filled out, I got the photos and all that. So, I showed the lady at the front desk my photos, and guess what she says? Take a wild guess what she says. She says there might be an issue with the photos because that glare is still at the top of the freaking picture. So guess what I had to do again? I left Service Canada and I went back to that same drugstore that I got the photos taken. And funny enough, when I went back to that drugstore, the same lady took my picture, but this time they altered the setup completely. There's like a white screen they put behind you. She moved it, she changed the angle, did everything. And they couldn't do it. They could not do it. They couldn't
So what ended up happening is he got a refund, which was great. He got a refund because obviously they weren't going to work.
Yeah, like they could not take a proper photo there. I don't know if it was just me. I don't know. I have no idea.
It could have just been they didn't have what they, maybe, just, you never know. Probably was just something that wrong on their end. But eventually you found a photo lab. I think that they recommended to you too, the Service Canada place.
Yeah, no, that was the lady at the drugstore that recommended that photo lab.
Okay.
Now, luckily, that photo lab was it was very close to the drugstore. I didn't have very far to go. So, yeah, so I went, at this point, I've gone to 4 different places to get my passport photos. 4. That's insane.
4.
And I want to say it's 5 people in total that have tried to take my pictures. It's a story I'll never get tired of saying. So I go to the photo lab,
Ridiculous.
and still we kind of had issues there too, because the first guy takes my photos and he couldn't do it properly for some reason. I'm not sure what was going on there. But then finally, the second guy comes in, he takes the photos, and it's good. It's finally good. So he takes the photo, gets the stamp on there, I go into Service Canada, and that's it. That is it.
And it ended. And then when did you say, because obviously we were expecting it to be like a month maybe that you got it. You all of a sudden get an email that's like showing you the tracking of the passport. And we're like, what? No way. This can't be the passport already out for mail. It was insane.
Oh yeah, so what happened, so again, I got the photos, I went back to Service Canada, I didn't have an appointment, right? I just walked in, and I wasn't waiting that long, honestly. I think I was there for like maybe like a half hour. It wasn't that long, honestly. Keep in mind, there was a snowstorm going on during this. So I do that, and I apply for the passport, and everything's good. So obviously, me being the overthinker I am, I'm thinking, well, what if something's wrong with the photos or whatever? There never was. The photos, that last one I got taken, there's nothing wrong with that. It was fine. So I left there. I forget exactly what day it was. I'd have to go back and check what day I applied. I don't remember exactly, but it was in December. It was like mid-December. Or early December. No, it was early December. That's what it was. Yeah, my appointment was scheduled for mid-December. So I'm thinking, like, there's no way. I'm thinking the earliest I get my passport is January. That's what I was thinking. But nope, I get this thing in about 3 weeks.
Yeah, it was crazy how fast you got it.
And I remember doing a Suika stream and talking about that specifically. I was like, because I remember somebody in the chat, I believe it was Kade Mario. I think it was Kade. Basically saying, like, yeah, there's no way it's the passport. And I was on the same page as him. I didn't think that was the passport either. I thought there was no way.
Surprise, surprise!
So, like, I got a tracking number for it. But I'm like, well, what could that possibly be? It's either the passport or it's the papers. I'm like, well, this doesn't make any sense. And then sure enough, like I said, about 3 weeks later, I get it in the mail. And yeah, everything I did was worth it.
It was, even though you had to go 4 separate times. It's just such a story, and it just figures, you know, it would happen to you. I'm just gonna say that.
And on the plus side, I don't gotta worry about it for another 10 years, so.
Right, and we have this joke because his mom is interested in getting a passport, and I'm like, well, I'm sure that she will have the very smoothest time because you were the guinea pig.
Yep. Yeah, if you need a passport in Canada, I'll tell you where to go.
But yeah, you did. I mean, and you know what's funny is obviously I'm interested in getting my passport because I do want to travel outside of the U.S. Fun fact, I've never left. And yeah, I know I'm almost 30 years old. But it kills him a little inside because all I need, no joke, is my ID. They use the picture, I believe. They use your driver's license picture, I believe. Your ID, proof that I was born here, and then I think for ladies it's a little interesting because obviously I think I have to be able to prove my last names. So like I would need my obviously my birth certificate doesn't match my ID, so I'd have to prove why my last name is different, which that might be a little complicated with everything I'm going through right now, but I think as long as I have the right certification to go, look, this is what happened, and then this happened, and then this is why, they should be good.
Yeah. Yeah, apparently in America you don't need a guarantor, you don't need references, you don't need any of that.
You don't need anything to do really with other people, which is nice. So like, it's just all about you.
Yeah,
like
it must be nice.
Yeah, it is nice. So nice.
Just, again, the good thing is that it's done and over with. I don't gotta worry about it for 10 years, so it's all good.
Alright, so what do you want to talk about now?
So, I don't know, do you have anything else you want to talk about?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I've like, I guess I can talk about flying by myself for the first time. Like, that was a big deal for me.
Oh.
So, for those of you who don't know, I flew for the first time by myself in February of 2023. And guys, as you know, I have a generalized anxiety disorder. Let me tell you who overthinks everything. me. I was thinking about, so I was gonna go to Universal Orlando with my cousin because, as you guys know, I'm a theme park person, and Universal Orlando Resort was always on my bucket list. And living, no joke, an hour away from it by flight, it's like no brainer. So found a weekend, just a quick getaway trip. And for those of you who don't know, freaking where I live, without giving away my location, this airport doesn't fly direct to freaking anywhere.
Which is weird.
Everything is a layover in Georgia. Everything. It is mind-blowing considering Georgia is just right below.
That is weird.
So I was like, so here's the thing. Not only would I be flying to an airport for the first time, but I would be going through two of the largest major airports probably in the US. Like, I know Atlanta and MCO are both in like that top 10 of biggest airports. Oh yeah. Like, you have freaking trains you have to catch in Atlanta. Same with Florida. So I woke up at like, so my flight to Georgia, yeah, I know, my 30-minute flight to Georgia was at 5 in the morning. So I woke up at 3. By the way, guys, we'll get into TS. If for all the Americans, if you can get TSA pre, pay the extra $80 and get it. It is a life changer, especially if you have to fly to major airports. I guess I can talk. So TSA pre means it's basically like a pre-background check you do before any flights. You have to go to like an office center and they take your picture and everything. It basically shows, yes, they have been approved for TSA pre. When you go on a trip, they apply that TSA pre to your flight number. Basically, it is the fast pass of flying security. It is fantastic. With TSA, you have to wait in a really long line. You have to take your shoes off. With TSA pre, you don't have to take your shoes off and the line's much shorter. So that saved my anxiety because also you don't have to get to the airport at the mercy of waiting in a huge ass line. So, you know, I get through TSA pre, it was pretty easy. And then, oh my God, you guys should have saw me when I got to the Atlanta airport. I had to get on this train. And the terminal for Orlando was in the international terminal, which I know, and it scared me because the train literally went behind this like cement wall, and I'm like, oh crap, did I miss it? I have to get off at gate F. And the guy's like, no, there was a pilot luckily on the train. He's like, no, you're going to gate F. He's like, this is just such a big terminal that we have to like go like underground. I'm just like, oh my God.
Oh jeez.
So then, like, I navigated. My cousin met me because she lives in Georgia. She met me at the Atlanta airport. We flew to MCO together. That was no big deal. All right, coming back to MCO. Keep in mind, guys, this was another AM flight. I had no coffee. I get to MCO and I'm looking for the TSA pre-line. I'm like, where the hell is it? I am looking around. I'm like, I can't find it. This is a huge airport. I'm like hummingbirding around looking for where to go, and then finally I see it. And then once I got through that, it was pretty easy. And I had a carry-on backpack, so I didn't have to check in my luggage, which was great because I'm very paranoid about luggage, guys. That's like my worst fear when it comes to flying, is losing my stuff. Luckily with Delta, which is the most prominent airline in the South, Delta will actually send you a notification when your stuff is on the plane. It is so nice. Even with layovers, it'll say, hey, we have your stuff, on to the next flight, which is so nice. But yeah, for someone who has super bad anxiety, I would fly solo anytime again, now that I know what to do. Also, since I am you guys' resident travel person, just have your plane app on your phone. I promise it will make your life easier. Like, I am looking at my Fly Delta app right now. That was how I was able to keep track of my gate, track of my boarding, track of my everything, track of my ticket. So guys, there's my big tip right there. And actually, not to do a shameless plug, I did a whole travel and flying podcast on Don't Be a Karen, the show. Sorry, horrible shameless plug. But I did an entire answering your guys' questions. So if you ever want to watch that and get some good, like, in-depth travel info, go watch that podcast. So yeah, I would say that was a pretty big recent moment. I'm like, I can fly by myself.
Yeah, yeah, I'm with you on that one, Lan. I don't know, just flying is,
Ryan, I'm sorry, but I'll help you through that. You're gonna have to get on a plane at one point. I'm sorry.
Oh, I don't have to.
Yes, you do.
Well, can't I just drive everywhere?
No, Ryan, you can't just drive anywhere.
I don't know, maybe someday, but I don't know. Just being up there around nothing.
You'll do it once and then you'll be like, oh, this is easy.
Maybe.
All right. Now, what do you want to talk about?
Well, like I said, I got some major trips I do want to talk about. So, as far as major trips, the first major one I went on was when I went to Ottawa in 2007. So, again, not to turn this into too much of a sports talk, but that's when my love for the Sens started, when I went to Ottawa. So yeah, it's 2007. Quite a long time ago, 17 years ago. But,
God.
What?
This makes me feel old, but anyways, keep going.
Yeah, 2007 was definitely one of the more significant years of my life because, again,
Oh, you too?
first...
Oh, okay.
Wait, what happened?
No, this was very significant for me, but anyways.
Oh. That's interesting.
Yep, but go ahead.
But anyways, yeah, so, again, first major trip, and it was also the same year I started high school as well, so it was pretty significant. But, yeah, when we went to Ottawa, we just kind of went everywhere. And that was also the first time I left Ontario, technically. Because we did go into Quebec very briefly. We went to, like, a museum. I forget exactly what it was. But, yeah, that was also the first time I left the province. So that was pretty significant for me. And, I think we were there for 3 nights. I think it was 3 nights and 4 days. It was just like a class trip we did. It's something they did every year at my school. And definitely no regrets about that. And I remember coming back with some Senator's glasses, like drinking glasses, which I still have somewhere. I don't know where they are, but yeah. We also went into the mall there. The mall there is huge. I forget what it's called now, but my goodness, it is enormous. I forget the name of it now. That's kind of bugging me, but yeah, that was my first major trip, and like I said, that was when my, fun fact, that was when my love for the Sens started. So, there is that. And then, it's kind of funny, because, like, as far as major trips, I would say I've done 5. As far as major trips, like, multiple days. And 4 of them came, like back-to-back years. And then there was Tennessee this year. It's like, because again, 2007 was Ottawa, and then 2008 was when I went to New Brunswick for the first time. So that is the longest car ride I've ever been on. That's about 16 hours.
Oh my Jesus.
So,
oh my God.
Yeah, so I wasn't driving back then. I couldn't drive back then. I was 15, so I couldn't even drive back then. I wasn't old enough. So my dad drove. We went with, it was me, my dad, my brother, and my grandma. So we didn't drive straight through, obviously. We stopped halfway and stayed at a hotel.
Obviously.
And we were there for a while. I think we were there for like 2 weeks.
Oof.
It was a while. Because, again, for those of you guys who don't know, most of my family is in New Brunswick. They live in New Brunswick right now. So we actually had a cottage that we stayed at. So we didn't have to pay anything for, like, hotels or anything except for when we stopped halfway. So that was pretty nice. But that was, it was a lot to take in because I met a crazy amount of people there. Like, family who I've still to this day I've never seen again since we went there in 2008. I must have met about 50 different family members. It was nuts.
So you do have a big family.
It's huge. Down there it's huge. It was ridiculous.
That's what I thought. I was like asking you about like your extended family, and you're like, I don't know. You do
Yeah,
too,
well,
though.
I mean, it is, but like it's not. What am I trying to say? Like, most of my family is in New Brunswick, but like as far as where I am right now, not too many of us are around here. But yeah, like if we're going, like, yeah, my extended family is pretty big.
Isn't your mom from New Brunswick too?
Yeah, they're both from New Brunswick. They were both born there.
Look at me knowing stuff.
And again, fun fact, that's why I've got the, the outline New Brunswick tattooed on my arm, because that's where my parents are from. But, yeah, like that trip, that was just, it was insane. Like I said, I think we were there for about 2 weeks. It was insane. But, yeah, so we did that. And like I said, the main thing about that trip is just we wanted to meet a bunch of our family. Like I said, I must have met about 50 different family members. Like, I'm not even exaggerating. It was a lot. But yeah, that's it for that. Now again, so 2007 was Ottawa, 2008 was New Brunswick, 2009 was also a pretty big one, and for the longest time, that was the only time that I left Canada, because that was when I went to New York in 2009. Now this trip was, well, very significant for a lot of reasons, obviously. Now something that's very, very kind of interesting and funny about this, guess what? When I went to New York in 2009, guess what I didn't need? I did not need a passport. You did not need a passport. And that still confuses people when I say that, because I'm like, yeah, because I'm not even kidding.
It had to do with like your class. Maybe it was like because the school had gotten probably some form of permission, I would imagine.
No, you just needed your ID. All you need is your ID back then.
Well, I can understand. I do understand why they require a passport. I just think that's a good idea for all countries. Just because you never know. Like that lady who drilled you on the way back into Canada, which we'll get to.
Yeah, because the passport thing, that came out, they just came out with passports, like, I swear it was like a year or two after I went to New York. I'm just like, wow, that's kind of ironic. But, yeah, New York in 2009, we were there for, I believe that was 4 nights. I think it was 4 nights and 5 days. Basically what that was just like a lot of people from my high school, like art classes and stuff like that. So we went to a ton of museums there. I don't know how many it was. There was a lot that we went to, but we did a lot there. So I went to the top of the Empire State Building, which I'll never forget. I did see the Statue of Liberty, but I didn't really get close to it. That was also the only time I've ever been on a ferry. Fun fact. So that happened. I also went through Central Park. Never forget that. And Times Square. I also went to Times Square. I can't forget that one. How can I forget that? That's pretty huge. I remember making a video of that with my terrible phone, and yeah. Pretty cringe, but I got it. And yeah, like that trip, like I said, 2009, that was the only time I had left Canada until this year. So yeah, 30 years of my life, I only left Canada once. But now you look, I've left 3 times. So fun fact there. And then again, continuing with my major trips here. So again, just a recap: 2007, Ottawa; 2008, New Brunswick; 2009, New York; and then 2010, we went back to New Brunswick again. We weren't there nearly as long. I think that was like a week we were there that time. So we didn't visit as much family that time because we were, like, I was very young back then. Like, 2010, I would have been 17. My brother would have been 15. And, like, you know, my dad understood, like, you know, we didn't really want to go around and, you know, meet family and all this and that at such a young age. It's like, you know, if you know what I mean. So yeah, that was, we basically did kind of the same stuff that year that we did the first time we went. You know, just hanging out with family. We went to the cottage again. We stayed there. Like I said, I think it was for about a week we were there that time. And
no wonder you don't mind being in a car for long periods of time.
yeah, again, that's about a 16-hour drive, New Brunswick, where we were going, so.
Jesus.
And what's crazy about that trip in 2010, 14 years ago, that was the last major trip I had been on until this year. Which is crazy to think about. Because again, this year, of course, I went to Tennessee, so yeah. That's pretty much it for my major trips.
Did you want to talk about that one now?
Which one?
Oh, you know, just that one.
The Tennessee one?
Maybe.
What a fun time it was, right? So I mean, I could talk about this forever, honestly, I could. But, yeah, if you guys don't know, I did go down to Tennessee in March, about 3 months ago. And there were just an insane amount of firsts for me on this trip. Again, first time leaving the country on my own, that's probably the biggest one right there. It was... See, the thing that's so weird about it is, like, if you would have asked me, like, a year or two ago if I would have done this, I would have said no. I would have said you're crazy. Like, what? I would never do that. It's like, I stepped out of my comfort zone so much during this trip, it's kind of insane. Because, again, leaving the country for the first time ever, it was the longest drive that I'd ever been on by myself. By far. It's about a 10.5-hour car drive. Which, by the way, I was actually feeling pretty good after that, surprisingly. But, that's a thing. I went through 4 different states I had never been to. That's also a thing. Stay at the hotel by myself. First time doing that ever. And it's just so crazy looking back on it now. The amount of firsts that I went on, or the amount of firsts that happened because of that trip, it's so insane. It is so insane. And funny enough, it's not going to be the last time I go down there, so...
Nope. Definitely not.
You should go to New York City. That's what I was saying earlier, Lane. I did go to New York in 2009. And for the longest time, that was the only time I had left Canada until this year. But, yeah, the Tennessee trip, that just, it means so much to me, and I'll never get tired of talking about it. Because, you know, obviously I went down to meet this girl that I'm in VC with.
I have to message you something.
What?
Nothing. What was I yet?
She needs to message me something, now I'm curious. Much younger than I thought you were. Yeah, I can see that, Car. I can see that. Welcome in, by the way.
I think you look your age. Coming from someone who was also up there.
I don't know.
You look your... I swear.
I don't know.
I sent it to you. You do.
I see your message.
Yeah.
Stopped in Washington, D.C. while going to Vancouver. Wait, isn't that like... That's pretty far apart, isn't it? Or am I getting confused here? Washington, D.C. is like on the opposite side of the continent, isn't it?
There's a Washington, there's a Washington, D.C. Do not get them confused.
I know the state of Washington is below Vancouver.
Yes.
If it's Washington, D.C., that's very far away. What the heck? Unless I'm getting confused.
No, I think you're correct.
That's crazy, though. Been 3 times each time to see a Broadway show. Oh, that's something else. When I did go to New York, yeah, I did see... Oh, who did we go see again? I forget who it was. We did go see a Broadway show. I forget who it was. Also, welcome in, Yodaman. But yeah, that's pretty much it for my major trips.
All I'm going to say is that when you do come back down here, you're going to get a good meal in because you just snacked the whole time. No wonder you were starving. That was the one thing, because he obviously messaged me when he got here and it was late and I was at home. And he's like, I am starving. I'm like, well, you had like food, right? He's like, snacks. I'm like, you had like a meal, right? Dude didn't eat a meal. He snacked the entire time.
Yeah, that's...
Food.
I mean...
You can't do that. You gotta eat food.
It was...
What, like chips, granola bars, and what else?
It was basically granola bars, bear paws, and like the Ritz cracker sandwiches. Those things.
Yeah, I have a feeling the next time will be different.
That was basically... It sounds so bad.
Like, thank God the hotel had food. You just got like a burrito. And I was like, thank God. 'Cause, like,
Yeah, I got
no.
it's like a bean burrito or something when I got there. It was pretty good, actually.
Bean burritos are the best. You can't.
By the way, the hotel I stayed at in Tennessee was amazing. There was like nobody there. It was great.
The only thing is, I think, well, like I said, next time, like, I would only say that it was kind of expensive, and like we've already done some research, and needless to say, definitely know where he'll probably end up next time, and it's much cheaper, a bit more amenities, which is nice.
Yeah, like the hotel was expensive, but definitely worth it for the price.
Yeah, that's true. And the location.
It is a pretty good location. There's like everything around there, so.
Well, that's the perk of staying by an airport. Is it's so basically, without saying where I'm at, it's not like I'm in a small town, but I am in a town with a major airport. So there's no shortage of hotels. There's no shortage of hotels. There's no shortage. They have a rental car place, lots of fast food. Like, it's pretty well, thought out. So there's no shortage of, God forbid you got like stranded or something there. You have your pick of where you can stay. And most of the time, more like with the airlines, if the airline messes up, they'll typically give you a credit to stay for free, depending on which ones offer that. And what's nice about hotels like this is there's typically always someone at the front desk. I know when I call, because he doesn't have an American phone line, so like when he was coming to stay here, I called and said, hey, are you guys cool? If someone's checking in like 8 or 9. They're like, yeah, there's someone always here.
Yeah, a 24/7 desk is really nice.
It is.
Hey, welcome back, Memer.
Photos of you two at Dollywood. Yeah, that was if you want to know what a perfect day was, yeah, it was that day. I mean, the first day we met too was also perfect, but like, that was just such a great day.
Yeah, Dollywood that day was a bit of an understatement when I say it was a special day.
It was kind of infamous. It's infamous in a good way, because I know people say infamous in like a bad way.
Yep.
I guess we can talk about now is places we'd want to go to. And me and Ryan both have a target location we both want to go to.
We do.
Like, I want to go to Japan so bad. It's not even funny. I want to go to Japan so freaking bad. I obviously need my passport. I will get that probably at the end of this year, because I just need to have one. But yeah, I want to go to Japan because, oh my god, like, especially like obviously like Japan has many different parts, but definitely the Tokyo area.
Yeah, like, I mean, I just want to go to see all the Pokemon stuff.
But you have to fly there. You have to fly there.
Wait, I can't drive?
No, Ryan, you can't drive to Japan.
You can't drive in the water?
It's literally impossible.
You can drive in the water, right?
Ryan, you can't drive to Japan.
I'll swim.
You can't swim there either. Versus Tokyo is amazing, trust me. I know, and there's Tokyo Disney. Like, Tokyo Disney, you have all the Pokemon Cafe stuff. You have the Shibuya shopping district in that area. You have all of the food. Like, just the food.
Yokohama, yeah, I've seen pictures of that place. It looks amazing.
But yeah, I want to go to the Pokemon Cafe really bad.
I want to go to the Pokemon Center there.
I feel like you would be in heaven. That would be like your heaven. You would just walk in and...
I wouldn't leave. I would just live there.
Well, the Pokemon Cafe is in the Pokemon Center. So, like, typically people will go there and eat first, and then they'll just go shop till they drop.
Yeah, I'd have to be very careful.
Of plushies.
Yeah, if I go into that place, I'd have to be very careful.
Have you seen there's actually, like, memes of people who, like, go to Japan and bring an extra suitcase just for the stuff they're bringing back?
Oh, probably.
I think one was just full of Pokemon plushies, and I'm like, yeah, that's about right.
Something I still need is a Poipole plush.
I gotta find you one.
I need one badly.
I know. I need to find. I'll find you one. Could easily blow hundreds a day. Oh yeah, like you wouldn't even know it.
That and the food, like just the food in general.
Oh my God,
I'd love to go to Japan for that.
Oh god, I know. Like just talking about it gets me happy.
Like
we talked about this a little bit on the food podcast, but we sent each other food reels, which it's kind of my fault. Ryan does it now.
I'm not complaining.
Like, oh my god, look at this food. Oh my god, it's like
got a Pikachu plush.
I don't know if I'd like sashimi. Me and Ryan both like California rolls, and that's the extent of like
Yep.
our sushi knowledge, like our sushi palettes.
But yeah, Japan, it's like, it's just like, that kind of environment. Like, I've never been around a place like that. But again,
Plus
mainly the
being
Pokemon
somewhere.
stuff. I'd love to go there for
Well,
that.
There would be a challenge, you know, with them speaking not a dominant language you're used to. That's also would be an interesting challenge.
Yep.
But I hear everyone's like super helpful, and there's like apps and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, they do have, like, you can order plushes online. Like, whenever I look at the Poipo plush at the Pokemon Center, it's never available. Never. One of these days, I'll get one.
One of these days.
Wasabi sauce. Hope you both get to go. Honestly, I need to get over my fear of flying. Like, just, that's the big thing.
I'll help you.
Maybe.
Well, you have to. I think, like I said, I think if you do it once, you will feel better.
Knowing me, I probably will, because, like, I do like to consider myself a brave person in general. Just flying is just, it's a bit different.
Like, I think if you just do an hour flight, like, up in the air, basically come back down, that would be perfect for you just to get used to the idea.
Yeah, I feel like I don't know, I'd most likely be okay, just the idea of it. Nintendo World. Oh yeah, I didn't even think of that. That too. Been to Seoul, managed to get a tour in North Korea. Oh wow. Yeah, that's crazy. Nintendo World looks like, yeah, I'd love to go there, definitely. I wasn't even thinking of that.
Yeah, the one on this side of the continent opens next year. They're already predicting about early next 2025. They are building it fast.
Not the only one who loves Poipo plushes. Yeah, apparently not. Oh, they're always sold out when I check. Or it doesn't say sold out, it just says not available. So, I don't know if that's the same thing or... But, yeah, as far as places I want to go to, I still want to go to California at some point. Eventually. What?
Nothing.
Because again,
It's
like,
alright.
as far as like going, I haven't really been like out west at all. Like the furthest west I've been, I guess, would be what, Tennessee?
That doesn't even count.
I know.
That's east
I know.
and southern.
Like I haven't been west at all, so again, California, just, you know, that type of environment. Just obviously I wanted to see Hollywood, I mean.
That's not that great. I'm sorry. I'm like totally killing your bubble here.
Wow.
No, seriously. Well, I'll tell you why later.
Yeah, I don't know. Just again, that type of environment. Never been out that way at all, so should probably go to Disneyland. Maybe. Definitely maybe. Now, obviously, if I go there, I don't think I would drive there.
No.
That'd be nuts.
So, again, we're gonna have to get you over this flight thing. We can do it.
How long of a drive is it from where I am?
Ryan, no.
What?
Stop it.
I'm
Stop.
just looking it up for fun.
No, Ryan, no.
What? What? I can't look it up?
You're not driving to California.
I'm just looking it up. Well, if it would actually show me. Why is it not?
It's too far.
It's too far. Well, if it would actually load. Well, for me to drive to Los Angeles, it would take 1 day and 10 hours.
No, thanks.
So, 34 hours.
Just not even, no.
So that's me going to Tennessee and back, and then back to Tennessee again.
More time. No.
Yeah, that'd be nuts. That would be nuts.
Yeah. Because, I mean, in all honesty, The only thing that bothered you when you did the drive down here was your eyes. And that's insane considering, like, that's a lot, but literally the only thing that hurt was your eyes from focusing. That's a win. Like, your eyes will rest, of course. That's crazy.
Yeah, well, my eyes, they weren't even hurt. They were just tired. I wouldn't even say sore. They were just tired. But, yeah, I do like to consider myself in somewhat decent shape. I mean, the drive kind of proved it, because I felt perfectly fine after it, so...
Alright, also something we need to talk about is, I think we touched on this a little bit in our... So before we started this podcast, I was doing my podcast. I'm so bad with it, because we're just doing this and I'm having fun. We talked about Border Patrol. The Border Patrol story. So...
Oh, yeah.
Coming into the States, they basically asked where you headed, how long you going. America's like, cool. Passport, please. Enjoy your stay. On you go. So, we thought... And then Ryan's also left Canada once to do his, like, little test run. He went to... I think it was somewhere in New York. He went to Target. Again, same thing.
Yeah, Target.
Goes to America. They're like, well, how long are you staying? How long are you going? He comes back into Canada, no issues. They don't no problem. So we're assuming same thing. Oh no. So there's something I like to say kind of similar. I've mentioned this with TSA. There's always that one agent. And again, I think it's important to do your job. That's not what I'm saying. That thinks that they are supercharged agent. Like they have to be like, they think they're like on CSI or some shit like that. Oh boy. So he gets this lady and I'll let him explain the rest. He's coming back into Canada.
Yeah, so again, this is when I was coming home from Tennessee, so keep in mind, I didn't know what the heck was going on, right? This is only the second time I've come back across the border, and like Karen said, the first time I did it, there were no issues, right? It's just like, okay, where are you coming from? Okay, cool. That's it. But when I came back from Tennessee, this lady asked me, it must have been like 40 questions. It was insane. Like, she was asking me questions about Karen, like, and like her family and like her friends and all this. I don't even remember half the questions she asked, honestly.
I like had a kid.
That there was so much. It was crazy. I'm just like, I don't know what the heck's going on. So then, I'm gonna be honest, I don't remember half the questions she asked because there was so much. It was just like an overload.
It's about your dad. We have this theory that she just was trying to get his dad's number. That she just wanted to know, like, oh, is your dad, like, saying, like, she just kept asking about, like, yeah, she asked about your dad's job, too.
She asked about everything.
Wild.
It was crazy. So, like,
Yeah,
I don't know if they just do this with everyone. I don't know what the deal was, but...
No, because you were totally fine. But I think Leaf, who lived in Michigan, I think she said that crossing tends to have, like, hit or miss with people doing, like, people like that. So she said that's just that crossing, it sounds like. Shout out to Leaf, who's not here. But yeah, so then it gets worse.
Yeah, so what happened was she took my passport and she just, she's in the booth with the window closed for like a few minutes. I'm like, what the heck's going on? Like, I was like, my anxiety, I got bad anxiety with stuff like that when I don't know what's going on, right? So I'm just sitting in my car with my window down and she's just standing inside the booth with the window closed. I'm like, what the heck is going on? So she comes out in front of my car, like she comes out of the booth. And she has like a little slip. I'm like, what is happening? So she puts it on the windshield. And she tells me that I need to drive over to... I forget what it's called. Like this little area where they check you, right? They check you. So I drive over there. And I get out of my car. Well, actually, before I get out of my car, the one guy walks up to me. He's like, okay, get out of the car. Make sure everything's in there. And I am freaking out. I'm freaking out because I didn't know what the heck was happening. Like, did I do something wrong or?
All I think they were gonna find is snacks and souvenirs.
Yeah, like, so the guy tells me to get out of my car. He tells me to leave everything in there. Just like, okay, and I'm so nervous, right? I'm very nervous.
Yeah,
I don't know what's going on.
Oh, you look nervous. No, you're just searching my vehicle.
So I get out and 2 other people came over too. So they got 3 people searching my car. Like. Keep in mind, I've never done this. I've never done this ever, right? So, I mean, who wouldn't be nervous?
It's just ridiculous that this one super mega lady was like, I'm gonna feel important, slap that thing on. Because you didn't have to do this coming back in from New York. It's just like you got super mega lady, which I hope you don't get again next time. Otherwise, at least you'll know what's going on.
No, I have no idea. Also, Ash, what the heck? Thank you so much for the
Oh
5 YouTube
my.
memberships. I appreciate that.
But yeah, it's just insane. And then obviously, I want to visit Canada. Oh, spoilers! I do definitely want to return the favor because I feel like it's just fair. And so I think the first place I'm probably gonna go once I have my passport is to visit up there. Because Canada got some banging food, and I have to see what the hell is up with this Tim Horton stuff. So you guys
You
will
do.
know for sure if I think it's legit or not.
I might go there later. I mean, what?
I'm not surprised.
But I do want to come back to that searching my car thing again, just a little bit.
Yeah.
So again, this is the first time I've ever done it. Right? I'm sitting there. I'm outside my car, and like I'm shaking. Like I'm shaking. And they got
Aw.
3 people searching my car. All the doors are open. The hatchback's open. They're going through everything. Obviously, they didn't find anything. Just to make this clear, they found nothing. Obviously, because there was nothing there.
Found your popcorners.
But one of the guys walks over to me. He's like, "You look nervous." I'm like, "Yeah, because I've never done this before. I don't know what the heck's going on." And then one of the guys there, the other guy, said that it's just like, it's like they do it sometimes they don't. I don't know. I don't really get it. I guess it's just like, I feel like maybe it's like a quota kind of thing.
Oh, I see where they do have to, you just happen to be the one they had to search. I could see that. It's just so, I have this joke, America freaking is so relaxed.
Yeah, that's the
They're
thing. When I came to America, when I went to Tennessee, it was easy. Easy. Where are you
like-
going? How long are you staying? That was it.
Okay, bye.
Nothing.
America don't care.
But coming back into Canada, they search your car.
She just wanted your dad's number. She was just trying to get with your dad.
That was just... But obviously now, now I know that might happen next time, so I won't be nervous.
No, and then the same thing. What's nice is you have the same stops at last time. So he stopped in Ohio and he stopped in Kentucky. Yeah, real deep south with Kentucky.
Yep.
And that was super easy. So you'll... And then the good thing is hopefully whenever you come back, it won't be during tornado season. But to be honest, I mean, it was fine. It wasn't like he was driving while there was a tornado on the ground. What? So yeah, I
Well-
didn't tell you guys. What? Go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say, so the worst part, like in terms of the drive to Tennessee, when I was going through Ohio, it was raining pretty hard for a bit.
Mm-hmm.
It was pretty bad at one point. It wasn't that bad to the point where I couldn't drive at all, but I didn't even know this until I got to the hotel, but there was a tornado warning right at
Yeah,
my
so,
stop in Kentucky.
So yeah, so I was watching the weather because I was just watching because I knew he was on the road and I couldn't talk to him very much because this guy doesn't have unlimited data, but also he was driving anyways. So I could only hear from him at stops, and like his mom his mom had an air tag on him, so she was communicating. In case you guys don't know, I talked to his mom. Because we're friends. Yes, that's a thing.
Yep.
So me and her were communicating back and forth. We had like a pact that if I heard from him first, I would tell her, and if she heard from him first, she would tell me. Because nervous women, both moms, we have the mom anxiety in common. So yeah, literally I'm watching freaking for those of you who don't follow, it's Ryan Hall, y'all, on YouTube. Look him up, he's one of the best meteorologists out there. So sure enough, I'm watching the weather, and near Crittenton, Kentucky, which was his next stop, had a freaking tornado warning. There was a tornado on the ground, I think. So I tell Purple Phoenix, who knew about it, I'm like, Savannah, come watch this weather with me. I'm so nervous. So literally it was me and her. She was like working on stream stuff, and me and her were just like praying through the knees that it would go away. And it did. And then and I was like, and then I even told her, I'm like, I'm not telling Ryan's mom about this. She's like, yeah, no. She's like, wait till he gets there. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
And sure enough, it was just a warning. It blew through. But seriously, that night, there were I think Ohio got hit with a really bad tornado, too. So clearly the Lord had some hands on him during that drive.
Yeah, like
So-
obviously, for what it's worth, I mean, I'm very, very aware of my surroundings anyway, so if something like that did happen, I I'd probably know what to do.
Yeah,
But,
I mean, like I said, you'll be fine, because I mean, Karen and Savannah suffering through tornado. Well, Stars, here's the thing: is me and Savannah are very fortunate because of where we are. I'll just say she's in Alabama, not too bad. The part of Tennessee I'm at is protected by the Smoky Mountains. We are very, very fortunate that we might get a percentage for a tornado warning, but because again, Smoky Mountains surround where I'm at, I'm pretty protected, which is so nice. So we'll get like the bad thunderstorms and the bad rain. We might get a percentage for a warning, but most of the time it rarely happens.
Yeah.
But yeah, Ohio.
Okay, wait. Are we back?
It looks like we're back.
Are we back?
Everybody still here? We disconnected for a second.
Yeah, I was disconnected. I think we're back. Okay, we're back? Okay. Stupid Streamlabs. Okay. What's the other one? I know barely avoiding tornadoes. Yeah,
So,
thankfully.
So here, tornado season is March through May. So it's June, right? So then I'm gonna look up just tornado season in the south. So we should just in this.
Yeah, Leon, Streamlabs just disconnected for a few seconds, but we're good though.
So yeah, most people's tornado season, basically, peak tornado season in Texas is May into early June. On the Gulf Coast, it's early in the spring, so that would be all like us down here. And then it says in the northern plains, upper Midwest, North and South Dakota, Nebraska, Iowa, Minnesota, tornado season's June or July. Let me see when Ohio's tornado season's open. Now I'm already looking up states till we make sure we don't have it again.
Yes, ban Streamlabs.
Yeah, April and June. So we're about to be over with tornado season. So that is nice. But yeah, it just figures, of course, he's doing this major drive when there's a freaking tornado on the ground. And then the morning we met, it rained so much. It thunderstormed all night. It drove me crazy.
Yeah, the thunderstorms actually kept me up a little bit the night that I got there.
Yeah, they were pretty loud. Even I tossed and turned a little bit, but I was like, it just rained so heavily the morning, like we're trying to. I'm like, oh my god. And luckily it went away, but it just rained so much.
Just like, yeah, I'm gonna have a hard enough time sleeping without that.
I know. I know. But you did it.
I did. And thankfully, yeah, like the tornadoes and all that, I didn't know about any of that until after I got there, which I'm very thankful for.
I'm driving right now, but there's a tornado on the ground, so if you could slow down, no.
Yeah, if you told me that while I was driving, I would have freaked out.
I know, so what was I gonna do? So that's why I was like, Jesus, take the wheel, Lord. I got on my southern praise skills, Lord Jesus, please. Please make it go away. And it did.
Yeah, all was good.
There were parts of Kentucky that got hit, though. Pretty bad.
Yep.
But yeah, so... I mean, like, you know, just had to freaking be that. I was just like, a freaking course. And, like, the thing is, we had Googled that weather so much the week before. So much.
I know.
And then, boom, like, about, like... Carrie Underwood reference there. Oh, yeah. But, the night before... But again, like, I look, and that's the thing, if he does the driving, I'll probably look up the weather anyways. The good thing is if, like I said, the good thing is, hopefully, weather-wise, if we plan it, I know when exactly I would plan it again. Because weather's important.
Yeah, we pretty much kind of have an idea.
Yeah, we have an idea now, for sure. We have an idea.
We do. Alright, well... I think I've talked about all the major stuff I want to talk about, so... Is there anything else you want to add?
I don't know, I feel like we covered everything, really.
Yeah, I got all my major trips talked about, so... That's the main thing.
I guess, do we want to let chat ask some questions?
Yeah, we can do that.
Target?
Yep. Little Q&A session.
Yeah, so if you guys have any questions for us, this is the time to do so. Also, while he's looking for a raid target, I do need to bring this up. So this is good news. So I'm re-entering the workforce back into salon life. So my schedule is not set. I get a new schedule every 2 weeks. obviously this could impact the podcast date and time. So be aware that we will try to keep it on Thursday as much as possible, but I just don't know, especially because Thursdays are a day that I can typically work whenever. There's always like I said, I just have to see. I haven't even started yet. So my start week should be the week of the 6th to the 17th. So I should even have a schedule for when we're supposed to do this again. So guys, just please be flexible if the podcast changes date and time wise. And now you understand why. It's literally out of my control.
Yeah.
But your girl gotta work. And I'm excited about it, so.
I think it's gonna go well. So, I'm gonna DM you a name. I know we did rate them once for after a podcast, but what do you think about them?
Who else is live?
Let me see. Oh, actually, maybe we can do them. Hold on. What about them?
Yeah, we can do them. It's been a while.
Alright, that works.
Okay.
So hashtag Dibbling raid.
Yes.
Let me get that redirect set up.
Also, guys, don't forget tomorrow is a special day. It is Ryan's 9K special. He will be streaming for a long-ass time, so no shortage when you can show up. It will be going for a while. So please come by and show your support, because it's a pretty big milestone, and he'll be playing some of the Master Chief series.
Yeah, we don't talk about that.
I just did. I just did.
But, yeah, we do have our raid target selected. So...
Also, thank you guys for being so flexible with the start date today. Sometimes things don't go as planned and you gotta rework things, so thank you. Lan, you have a question? What's your question?
Yeah, what's up, Lan?
But yes, please follow us on the raid. We have the redirect set up.
Yep, it's all ready to go now, so...
Perfect. Oh, don't forget to do your shoutouts.
Yeah, I'll do those in a second. I think there's a few of them. You can do those now, actually.
There will be a lot tomorrow.
No, there won't.
Okay.
Alright, we have... Let's see. We did have a milestone come in before the stream started. That was from Fireboy with a 21-month milestone, so I do appreciate that. We also had Rolanda and Max with a 20-month milestone, and Ash with the 5 gifted memberships. So there are the shoutouts for today, guys. Alright.
This is for both of you. Were you both scared or worried something's gonna go wrong the day of the strip? Oh, of course. You always, I mean, me and him are overthinkers. Are you kidding me? That's like what we do. Of course we were. But here's something that I've learned is that typically the things you're most worried about don't usually happen. That's something that my mom taught me. My mom's like, typically the things you really, really stress about don't end up happening. So that was something you can't just think, oh my god, it's gonna be you have to think positively no matter what. And I know that's easier said than done. Of course, in the back of our mind we're thinking, but you know, that's the thing. I know me mentally, I just had the waiting to do. Ryan had the actual drive. I had to just wait, which I think that's the hardest part, which is why I'm kind of like, if whenever he does do this drive again, I'm like, please let me work so I can be busy and not worried and hovering over my phone, even though there's no point in worrying because I couldn't. The nice thing is everything he did was so helpful. He actually wrote out timestamps of when he should get to his stops. They were pretty accurate, so I know if he were to do it again, it'd be accurate as well. Like, he wrote out timestamps, all the major cities he would be driving in. He gave me his phone number. God forbid I had to like his phone number in case something went wrong. So you know, he's good at being so prepared. It did help us not to worry about stuff. And again, that's just, you have to think positively.
Yeah, like, again, like, you know, both of us being overthinkers, we definitely were worried about it. But, it's safe to say I was definitely over-prepared, but it's definitely not a bad thing for a trip like that.
No, and you'll probably do it again.
Yeah, it's not gonna be the last time I do it, so...
No, I meant just be over-prepared. Like...
Oh yeah, I'll do it again. Again, especially for a trip like that, it's never a bad thing to be over-prepared.
No.
But, let's see, will we ever play Undertale Yellow? No foul language there, and it's free. There's always a possibility. I'm always down for a variety, so I would say it's possible. But, I do think that's pretty much it.
Yep. So if you guys want to follow us on the raid, please.
So yeah, the only thing I want to mention here is, as Karen said, yes, tomorrow I am doing my 9K sub special, which, again, you know, we'll save the speech for tomorrow, but, yes, Halo the Master Chief Collection, and it's going to be a long one. I'm thinking probably about 9-10 hours, so we'll see how that goes. I have not played Halo in a long time, so we'll see what happens. But, I think that's it.
Yes, thank you guys so much for being here, as usual.
Yeah, so of course, gotta make sure we get the shoutouts here. So, once again, I do want to thank Hawk of Kings for the starting music. He was the one that made that. And also, shout out to Puff for making all the artwork, the layout, the thumbnail, the logo, the name, everything. That was all done by Puff, so big shout out to her for that. And I believe that is it.
Alrighty.
And again, like Karen said, we don't know when the next one's going to be because she might be working, but we'll figure it out. We'll let you guys know.
We will try, and the good thing is I do get my schedule 2 weeks in advance, so we can just pick whatever day I have off as long as it works well with, you know, childcare and stuff, because my son's not quite back in school yet. He will be returning to summer school as well, which will help free up some time too.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. I mean, right now, I guess we'll say the next one's on the 20th, but it could change.
Yes.
But we'll figure it out.
Yes. All right, guys. Thank you guys so much for being here. Please follow us on the raid.
Yes, so I'm going to go ahead and grab the link right now. So we're going to be raiding Sir Zero DM tonight. He is currently playing some Mario Kart 8 Deluxe with viewers. So I'm going to put the link in right now. Once it actually lets me. There we go. There's the link, guys. Alright, so is there anything else you wanted to say before we ended it?
Nope, just thank you guys so much for being here and being flexible with the different start time. And we will see you all, probably some of y'all tomorrow.
Alright, sounds good. I'll see y'all later, guys. Have a good one.